Right, well, no sooner have the Tories replaced Nadhim Zahawi as Tory Party Chair due to sleaze and scandal than his replacement, Greg Hands, is embroiled in sleaze and scandal too. I mean, really? Does so little scrutiny and checking go on that Sunak just keeps appointing people with dodgy baggage, or is getting away with abusing your position like a game show to this government? Is it like bingo? Do all you Tory MPs have to fill a little scorecard up with all manner of public funding abuses and the winner gets a promotion? Do you get little gold stars for such abusive behaviours within your privileged elected positions and little Greggy won this time? So what has he done then, Damo? Well, we're back to COVID PPE contracts, I'm afraid. It's not just your Matt Hancocks or your Michelle Mones that were involved here in lobbying and procurement of said government contracts for close associates. New party chair of the Tory Party, Greg Hands, was too, as he helped a company called, no word of a lie when we're talking Tories here, Luxe Lifestyle Ltd. Get a contract to provide medical grade PPE worth £25.8 million. At the time, Hands was a trade minister, not directly involved in PPE procurement, not really his department. His was more sniffing out more of those mythical Brexit benefits, sticking it to the EU by negotiating with the likes of, oh, who knows really, Vanuatu or Outer Mongolia perhaps. But actually, you might be surprised how involved he could be, more so than is being mentioned on social media about this story. And actually, his boss at the time, Liz Truss, comes into this picture too. I'll come on to that in a minute though. Being in the trade department, of course, didn't stop him from being able to make referrals. Any MP was able to, should they be approached to do so, and the point of contact between Greg Hands and Luxe Lifestyle did just that. The man in question is one Mark Higton, a Tory activist, at the time chair of Hammersmith Conservative Association, a man with connections to Tory MPs clearly, who wanted to offer PPE procurement via this company, despite Luxe Lifestyle having no history of ever having supplied the stuff. The company supposedly offered specialised design activities, whatever the hell that even means. But the company was brand new, had no staff, no assets, no turnover, and was actually already more than £9,000 in debt, negative equity. A one-person show consisting of a director who might have well have been calling themselves Del Boy and their company Trotters Independent Traders. I looked for a website to see if I could find something on this company, but they pretty much don't seem to exist other than their filings at Companies House. Nevertheless, Higton was well connected, and knowing Hands well enough, being from the neighbouring constituency, to seek his help, and seek his help he clearly did, because it is only via a ministerial or Lord's recommendation that a company ended up on that much sought-after VIP Lane, since ruled completely illegal in the courts, of course, for government procurement contracts. A Cabinet Office audit has confirmed Luxe Lifestyle got its contract because of a recommendation by an MP. That MP would appear to be the new Tory Party chairman. Remember Matt Hancock giving a contract to his local pub landlord? Well, we're looking at another example of that kind of thing here. Luxe Lifestyle ended up on that preferred list of suppliers despite its trading non-existency to supply 10 million FFP2 masks and 1.2 million gowns. It ended up supplying 9 million of those items worth some £20 million, and the lot got marked do not supply, which means they were never used. Evidently, they were completely unsuitable and another complete waste of public funds. Making matters even worse for all concerned, Luxe Lifestyle's accounts are only complete up to the end of 2019. The company only came into existence the year before, and so does not cover the period of this contract whatsoever, and they are epically overdue. The company is now going through the active proposal to strike off process, which means to be removed from Companies House registers, essentially, presumably so the company can be wound up. Now, Mark Higton was the chap who approached Hands, had the connections to the Tory party, but he wasn't actually the director of Luxe Lifestyle. That person, according to Companies House and the Good Law Project, who have been investigating this, is one Karen Brost, an American fashion designer based in London. Well, designer medical gowns certainly didn't materialise, did they? The term specialised design activities might make a bit more sense now, though still a bit vague, though medical grade certainly didn't factor into that clearly. Right, I'm going to get out a bit of a rabbit hole here, so bear with me. It's worth it, as it leads to that Liz Truss involvement. But Karen Brost is married to a financier chap called Timothy James White, formerly of Goldman Sachs, just like Sunak. I wonder if they know each other. It's a small world, isn't it? And together with another chap called Nathan Engelbrecht, were shareholders in a company called Times Place Brasseries. Now, Engelbrecht, together with his father-in-law, Tim Horlick, run a company you might have heard of, or might seem vaguely familiar, called Aanda Capital. To refresh any memories of this, ANDA were also awarded a PPE contract, a humongous £252 million contract for face masks, none of which can be used. And again, it wasn't something they dealt in. ANDA are an investment company that trades in currency and overseas property and equity, and frankly had no business applying for this contract. Medical grade masks have to fasten around the back of the head, you see. The ear loop type that so many of us have used day to day are what ANDA supplied, which was not good enough. It was yet another Tory fail. ANDA were recommended again via a Tory intermediary, though, called Andrew Mills this time, who was one of Liz Truss's 12 Board of Trade advisors at the Department for International Trade, where she was boss, and Greg Hands, one of her juniors. Truss's department was lobbied for a recommendation on behalf of ANDA, and they duly obliged, with Greg Hands' name mentioned in court papers associated with this deal. So was this one all on him too? Or is an entire government department led by someone who later became Prime Minister potentially in the frame? Back to that family connection between Luxe Lifestyle Ltd and ANDA Capital, though, that I've just explained. There's been nothing but denials that the link was ever known to government, but it does seem awfully convenient that they were both awarded PPE contracts, both appear to involve the new Tory chairman Greg Hands, and those contracts got awarded to these companies within a day of each other. Greg Hands appears to have his hands in this PPE mess right up to his elbows. 47 companies ended up on that VIP lane to supply PPE. We still, to this day, don't know who all of them are, though. Another ministerial scandal, another terrible appointment by Rishi Sunak, another reason why we need a general election now and get these crooked Tories blowing our money on the interest of their mates out.